one of our posts kind of went viral of Purposely Catholic about Mary, but it obviously goes into the intercession of the saints and a misunderstanding about what people think Catholics believe. There's, like Fulton Sheen says, there's millions of people that hate the Catholic Church, but there's only maybe a couple hundred who actually hate what the Catholic Church teaches.
What the real reasons that they teach, right?
So, you know, and we got hung up on this post, and I was engaging this post over and over again because we say that we venerate Mary, we venerate the saints, which is a big difference. If you even Google the word venerate and Google worship.
You're already getting all hot and bothered about it.
Well, I just want to set the record straight.
Yeah.
That veneration doesn't mean worship. Venerate.
So go ahead. What's the definition?
It means to honor, to hold to a high esteem. Worship obviously means that we bow down, we praise, we hold you up to God. But even the Webster's definition doesn't say that.
Yeah. I think that the most simplest way that I ever taught it was, you know, if I were going through a really difficult time, wouldn't I ask you to pray for me? Yes. Well, all the more reason if we believe, you know, that the saints are just people that made it, right? So you just have more people that have your back, and you just ask them to help you too. You know, someone who's gone through something, you ask them to pray for you. That's really what you're doing with the saints. It's that simple. Pray for me. And you're closer.
That would make logical sense, and that's what we believe as Catholics, but our Protestant brothers and sisters don't believe that. They believe that the saints are dead. That is the biggest argument that I got over and over again.
I feel like that's a generalization. I don't know if every denomination carries that.
I'd say out of all the comments that I have, out of the 2,500 comments on this post, probably half are, Mary's dead, she can't hear you. That's the most thing that...
There's a lot of haters out there.
Not only haters.
Is everybody okay?
But not only that, then they compare it to, there's a story where in Samuel where King Saul goes, because Samuel's dead, and he goes to the witches of Endor to try to reach Samuel, and a witch pops up. And like they use that example.
Samuel pops up and says, don't do this. You're not supposed to be doing this. What are you doing?
So they use that example to say that that's what we're doing with Mary.
Oh.
I'm like, you're comparing Mary to a witch and the undead. It's like, it's just such a disconnect.
Why do you engage in this? Like, why?
Well, because
why you don't have to like go after every little negativity.
It's not about negativity. It's about setting straight what we actually believe.
But do they want that? Like, is it?
Well, that's up to them.
Question. Do you engage? Do we need to be engaging online? Do we need to be crusaders online with every hater and every, what are they called? Bots.
I think I don't think we.
Trolls. Trolls.
I get it.
Like, I feel like that's such a waste of energy and a waste of
the truth about what we actually believe. Well, because part of the problem is a lot of the people who jump on there are ex-Catholics who never really were formed in the faith, who really don't know what we actually believe, who've never read the catechism. And I think there's not a whole lot of people who are Catholic who know what we actually teach and why. So to me, it's not a waste of time if I can try to, whether or not we're called to plant seeds. We're not called to hit them upside the head with a tree. But if somebody is disrespecting my mom, I'm going to defend her. That's just who I am. And that's not for everybody. But
I think that we need to pick our battles and to take on every like hater's post.
Yeah, but
it takes up our time and energy and robs our joy. True. That's all. But I know you like it. Like I think
not only do I like it, I love it. I just do.
Like, I mean, he's on his phone all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, it's got to be engaging with a Protestant because it's like this angry, like, typing. Like, oh.
Well, like I said, you mess with my mama, I really take offense to it. I just do. It's just because there's such a misunderstanding and there's common ground. And that's what I keep trying to say on there.
Do you see fruit? Does anybody walk away going, oh, now I know what the true teachings are? And I
not a lot, but there are some Protestants who will say, oh, I didn't know that. Because if you argue with someone who comes and says, well, the Bible doesn't say that, you know, the Assumption or Immaculate Conception or any of these things, that's their retort is, where's that in the Bible? And when you can craft an argument where you use scripture to try to show them things, not only is it helping them, but just like when you teach, it helps you.
It helps you.
Helps you to be able to formalize your thoughts, helps you to put together things. To me, I love apologetics, so it helps me to see all the objections. It's just like Aquinas, when he laid out the Summa, he literally laid out 5 objections of all these people's things, and then he said, and he attacked each one of them, and then made his point. He's steel manning his arguments. So that's what it's doing for me. It's helping me to better understand why we believe what we believe
Mhm.
through scripture, through
And
tradition.
articulate it.
Articulate it because I want to have a better understanding of it. And I want other people to see, like, we're not worshiping dead people. Like, literally in the Gospel of Luke, it says, when Jesus is talking to the Sadducees didn't believe in the resurrection. And Jesus tells them specifically, he says, what about the part when Moses is talking to God in the bush that's on fire, that's not consumed? God says, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living.
Mhm.
So it's like, no, Jesus himself tells us that he's not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living. And they're like, well, then they'll say something. But this is the one thing I've never had one person answer me was, were Elijah and Moses at the Mount Transfiguration, were they dead when he appeared with Jesus? And so much so that Peter said, let us build 3 tents. Let's stay here. They obviously were pretty much alive. They're not dead. And Elijah and Moses have been physically dead for a long time, but they obviously were with Jesus on Mount Tabor at the Transfiguration.
Mhm.
And no one has ever retorted or responded.
Nobody says anything back?
No, they haven't.